from Sarah Huckabee Sanders. She says another historic moment on the president's first foreign trip. Air Force One flies direct from Riyadh, Tel Aviv. Okay, so I spoke with Matt Schlapp. He is the chair of the American Conservative Union, and that's the organization that puts on CPAC, okay, the Conservative Political Action Conference. I spoke to him about the significance of even just this one move in particular. Take a listen to this.
Well, I'll tell you, he did something spectacular. He had a direct flight from Riyadh to Tel Aviv, which has never been done before. I mean, there's no diplomatic relations between these two countries. He's forcing them to accept certain norms, which I think all of us would like to see accepted.
Okay, so there is no doubt, though, that the president's previous remarks have sort of crept back up with this trip in particular, specifically remarks from the campaign, okay? The call for the ban on Muslims entering the country during the campaign, even though he has tempered down that rhetoric quite a bit since taking on the presidency. Then he had that back and forth with the Pope over immigration during the campaign. So when he was in Riyadh, we saw him essentially ignore those remarks, at least publicly, when he spoke. We expect that he will probably ignore the back and forth when he meets with the Pope. So is this a good strategy? Here's what Schlapp had to say during our interview.
You have to transcend between the fiery rhetoric on the campaign trail into being the president and the leader of the free world. And I think this trip has been a smashing success because the pictures and the visuals are riveting. Even just the arrival ceremony in Saudi Arabia, what that told me is that they are really happy to have this new president. They did not appreciate the way they were treated by Barack Obama.
Okay, so whether or not you agree with Schlapp, he is a conservative, okay, he is a Trump supporter, so whether or not you feel the trip is a success, Trump undoubtedly, he has to come home to some very difficult headlines. Most recently, the breaking headline about the special counsel. So I spoke more with him about how the president can best handle those headlines, move on with the agenda. You know, the budget's coming out tomorrow when he comes back. So I'll be back on 5 at 6:30. Taking a look at that.
It was fascinating when you talk about Matt Schlapp and CPAC. I mean, remember, going into CPAC this year, this was not a group that readily embraced Donald Trump, and he was going in as a sitting president.
Yes.
So times have changed a bit.
Absolutely, and and I think you hear more of what you're referencing when we talk about some of this stuff at home. I think conservatives maybe will rally more easily around some of the decisions and steps that President Trump has made internationally, where the domestic agenda